Look, guys, I did one of those spooky paintings. Can you see it? Look at that. Oh, look at the detail. I suggest you do one. It's pretty fun. I'm a little crazy with the blood river here, but everything else, I think it looks nice. Anyway. So if you're chronically online like I am, you probably see it every Halloween season. You see celebrities dressing up as cool things, but sometimes they're not cool. Sometimes they're kind of bad, and sometimes it's an obvious ploy by their designers to push their own designs out there. Now, regardless if they're good or bad, we always end up talking about it. We consume it, we post it on our stories, we retweet it, we make TikToks about it. Whatever we do, we discuss it, and that's pretty much the point of it. I think at the end of the day for them is that they're getting their names and their faces out there. No matter how relevant or irrelevant they are, they can always dress up as something cool and entertaining. Now, there are many different ways and categories in which these celebrities dress up. Sometimes they'll dress sexy, sometimes they'll dress ugly, sometimes they'll dress gruesome. They'll follow in the category of just like movies or comics, superheroes, but today mainly I want to focus on the celebrities who do cosplay as anime and sometimes video game characters. And while I was compiling the list, there wasn't too many that I found, but the ones that I did find actually were pretty good. Okay, so I want to start off talking about the one that surprised me the most. It's Alicia Keys. She dressed up as Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. I didn't realize that she watched anime like that, but according to her caption on her Instagram, I guess she's been wanting to dress up as this character for a while, and I had no idea. Does she really watch, or is she just like only into Dragon Ball? I mean, that's a pretty easy anime to be into, I guess. Pretty much like growing up, a lot of people, especially like I guess her generation, they did grow up on it, so it's not like outside the realm of possibilities, but it's just weird to think that like somebody like Alicia Keys watches anime. But as far as the costume goes, I think she did a really good job. So I'm assuming she did this for a party that she threw or maybe attended, but according to the pictures, there's like multiple people dressed up. I see like stormtroopers in the picture, and I think it's Swizz Beatz dressed up as, I guess, as the masked man from Naruto, but mixed in with like the Moon Knight. I don't know, I think he just wanted to be fly as possible, but like kind of fit the theme of the anime aesthetic that Alicia was going for. She did a really good job, and it's really subtle, but you can still tell who she's supposed to be. Like, she didn't do full out like purple makeup. She did just like little highlights of purple, and I like her little ears are fuzzy and they look kind of blinged out a little bit. So I don't know if what brand designed them, or if she just kind of just found something and threw it together. But overall, I think she did a pretty good job, and I think the shock value of it outweighed like the actual result of the costume. I'm not saying it's a bad costume, but it's just like she could have done more to really go for it, but for what she did and who she is doing it, I want to give this a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 ghosts. Yeah, let's do ghosts. 4 out of 5 ghosts. All right, the next celebrity you might argue might be a little bit more shocking than Alicia, but for me, this wasn't as surprising. Anyway, Paris Hilton, she dressed up as Sailor Moon, and her husband or man that she's with dressed up as Tuxedo Mask. Now, for so long, we only known Paris as being just like the reality TV star, heiress of the Hiltons, whatever. So we didn't really get to see much of her outside personality outside of the show that she was in. But now that I think about it, it'd be pretty funny to see her just watching anime with like a random dude like in Kansas filming their show, and her just being like, that's hot, whenever she sees like any character on the screen. So I guess it does fit within her personality, but it was just still like, oh, interesting, she chose Sailor Moon. I think mainly she probably picked it because it's like the cutest thing she could dress up as within the realm of anime. It's the most like notable, I think the most notable female character at least is Usagi from Sailor Moon. But as far as the costume itself goes, she really made it her own, because she blinged out like everything, and it's just like, at first, not at first, but like far away, you're like, hey, that's Sailor Moon, and you get closer and you're like, oh, that she's blinged out, holy. And then so is Tuxedo Mask. His mask is totally blinged out as well. So the outfits themselves are extravagant, but they still stick within the theme of Sailor Moon and like the anime aesthetic. So for this one, I'll give her 3 ghosts, because when you get close up, you're not like, oh, that's Sailor Moon, kind of, but it's also like, you just wanted to be cute. But I do like the fact that she did it and she looked good doing it. And somebody Paris Hilton adjacent would be Megan Fox for me. Why? Because they're just pretty women. I don't know. But anyway, her and Machine Gun Kelly dressed up as Link and Zelda one year. Their costumes, if I didn't see that it was Zelda and Link, I probably just would have thought, hey, they're elves, and that's cool. And between the two of them, I don't know whose idea it was to dress up as this. I'm gonna assume it's Machine Gun Kelly. He seems like the type that is into Zelda, but Megan Fox seems like, hey, low key, I'm into Zelda. You know, all those days that I spent shooting with Shia making Transformers, he was playing Zelda and I was there watching, and I grew up liking it. I don't know, it's weird. But for the costume itself though, I want to give this 2 ghosts out of 5 because it's just not recognizable. The only thing that has going for it is the color scheme itself, but it doesn't look accurate to any of the costumes that we've seen in the games themselves. So for that, yeah, only 2 out of 5 ghosts. All right, next up we have 2 for the price of 1. Not twins, sadly, but I meant 2 pictures. For the price of 1, we have Dylan Sprouse dressing up as 2 sets of anime characters, him and his partner, I believe. One year they went as Gaara and Trunks respectively, and then the next year, or the year before that, they went as Princess Mononoke, as Mononoke and the dude. I don't know the dude's name. Out of the ones we've seen so far, these are by far the best. They killed this. You look at Gaara and you're like, dang, that looks really good. And then you look at Dylan's Trunks and you're like, oh, that's actually really good too. And then you see the new Mononoke and you're like, hey, that's pretty accurate as well. If you saw these people walking the con floor, you'd probably be like, hey, can I get a picture with you? And they'd be like, yeah, sure, get a picture with us. We're good looking and we're accurate to what you love. Barbara is her name, by the way. I had to look up her name real quick because I felt rude just saying Dylan and his partner. It's Dylan and Barbara. They killed this together. I think both costumes look really good. Only gripe that I have with it maybe is that it's not made, like if cosplay and when you're doing it, you make your own props usually. If you buy it, you kind of get looked down upon. I don't have a problem with it, but that might be an issue for some out there. But as far as their costumes go themselves, they're accurate. They look good on them. They pull them off. They don't look like they're just like, hey, what's the most popular character? Let me dress up as it. They did some deep cuts and they did them well. So I think that they both probably end up, or they probably do enjoy anime respectively, and they probably watch them together like date nights or whatever. They don't seem like they're just like jumping in the wave just to jump in the wave. Definitely Dylan and Cole probably grew up watching anime and being big fans of them. So for that, altogether, I think that both costumes get 5 ghosts out of 5 ghosts. They killed it, and I can't wait to see what they do this year. I'm sure it's gonna be something cool. I don't have any ideas of what they could be, but they did really well. All right, then we have Olivia Munn, resident nerd herself. Got her fame hosting G4, and she is within the realm of gaming. She's always been. That's where her, her fame came from. And so with that, she obviously dressed up as somebody from a video game. She dressed up as Chun-Li one year, and I think the costume itself, really good. Did she look good in it? Yes. But for me, Chun-Li is just like, it's Chun-Li. I see a lot of them, and it's not like super original or crazy. And it doesn't really impress me. Her being a big fan of games, I feel like she would do somebody like a little bit more deeper within the gaming world, and I think she could do it really well. And as far as this costume itself goes, it looks like she didn't really do a whole lot. She just kind of threw the costume on and posed, and then that was like it. So I think the effort wasn't there completely, but she is a fan of games, so you get points for that, for just, not dressing up as just like a random game. You dressed up as something you probably played growing up and currently maybe. So for that, I want to give her costume 3 ghosts out of 5 because the effort, I feel like, wasn't all the way there. You could have went more with it. Maybe this year you do something crazy. All right, next up we got Megan the motherfucking Stallion. It's Megan. What can we say? She's gonna get 5 ghosts. You can't argue with it. But the fact that she is a fan of anime and she's letting it known that she's been a fan for a while, and even her, her alter ego is Tina Snow, which is based off of Todoroki. So she's within the realm. So she is a fan. She comes from it. And last year she went as Mirko from My Hero Academia, and she killed it. She looks good. It's 5 ghosts for a reason, guys. She's killing it. And I like the fact that she posted a picture with her like in the manga, so like it was a cool added effect, not just posting like, hey, here I am in my costume. She added a little bit more flavor to it, so that adds to it. And yeah, she did a really good job with this. It's one of the best Mirkos we've seen. Again, maybe she didn't make the costume herself, but she wears it well, and we can appreciate that, right? We all can. She should chop her legs off. That'd be sick for next year. What was it, her leg? Her legs get chopped off, right? That's what happens. Something happens with her leg. She gets messed up. And finally, we have the blessed Express himself, Max Holloway, and his wife and son dressing up as a family for the past 2 or 3 years, I believe, as anime characters. Every year, they haven't changed up, and we know how big of a nerd Max is. We've seen it like on his streams and everything, as much as he talks about it. So he comes from the culture. His wife too. She's also a baddie. But yeah, last year they went as the Tokyo Revengers. I think some was Mikey for sure, and then Max and his wife just kind of put on the garbs, but they look good. And it was one of the cooler pictures because his son just like posed up, just like, yeah, what's up? And the family behind them, it's cool. You should support your kids the way that Max supports his kids, or I guess maybe his kids are supporting him. Maybe they're like, we don't want to do that again, Dad. And he's like, you know what? You're gonna do it because you're gonna say no to me. Is that what you're gonna do? And then I think the year before that, he went as, or they went as the Demon Slayers. She went as Mitsuri. He went as Tanjiro, and his son went as Zenitsu. Jeez, I forgot the name. It's been a while since that show's been on TV, huh? But yeah, they killed that as well. I think that one's a little bit more going on with it, so that would probably could get like a higher rating. But I think the fact that the other one was simple, and the fact that Max lives that life of a Tokyo Revenger, like he could just beat your ass and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. I think that adds to the aesthetic of it. But both of these costumes, I'm gonna give them, let's give Tokyo Revengers a 4 ghosts out of 5, and I'm gonna give the Demon Slayer ones 5 out of 5 because that had more color going on with it, and they had a lot more cloths and stuff to wear, and they wore it well, and I like that they're doing this every year. And yeah, they're a cool family. He's a fighter, she's a surfer. Dope, right? But overall, I do enjoy the fact that celebrities do go out of their way, during Halloween time at least, to show us, hey, we're fans of this property. You probably would have never thought of it because I'm in this career path, and it's totally opposite of what I do for a living. So I do find it very interesting to see that, hey, you know what? Even though they're making tons of money doing like this in their career path, and you might think that they're super cool, whatever, they are still nerds at heart. And it makes us feel more connected to them, which might be a marketing scheme to get more fans, but I think that we can tell who's really about that and who's not about that. And the ones that are, we're like, hey, that's cool that you're part of that. I never would have guessed. And it makes you that much cooler. So I think that more celebrities should do that. They should dress up as things that they're into personally. A little bit more niche things like, hey, this person wants to be Rayman, or hey, this person wants to be Ed, aka Double D from Ed and Eddie. And you're like, oh, you like that stuff? That's interesting, and it makes you more interesting. And I think that it's good for the culture of anime and video games and geek things that you're into, that, you know, we see cooler people doing it because for so long you were bullied or you were made fun of because you're into it. So seeing more people who are mainstream do it, it makes us feel more included. Some fun ones I'd like to see this year, hey, maybe do a Toto. It's not, oh shit, he's not in the frame. Toto from Jujutsu Kaisen, that'd be sick to do. You can afford it, buy the fucking car from Initial D and just drive around in it. That'd be a cool costume idea. Astro Boy, I feel like we might see a lot of those because those Misfit boots that came out last year. That's easy, just throw those on and just stand somewhere, and that'd be cool. So yeah, I think that those would be some fun ones to see this year. So if you have any ideas of what you want to see this year, a celebrity dressed up as, let me know in the comments down below. Also subscribe down below or follow. All that information is down below. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's my final thoughts and my final rankings of celebrities dressing up as anime/video game characters, cosplays. You know, I make the title after I make the video, so sometimes I just spitball things and I watch it back and I'm like, oh, that's a good title. So it's long when I say it, but when I put it out there, it won't be as long. Anyway, point is, that's the video. Go dress up as something this year, something cool, post a picture, and let everybody know you like this thing, so you can make more friends who say, hey, I like that too, because we are a community at the end of the day. And yeah, till next time.